Well, good afternoon. I'm Chip McAllister, and I am so honored and feel privileged to be able to be the moderator here at the Mastermind President's Panel. And first of all, I'll say even some of the panelists are wondering why we are having this panel. And here is the reason why, so you all know. And first of all, I want you all to give yourselves a round of applause. We have a full house, and we have a full house today. Since none of you guys can see the audience, I'm going to tell you whatever I want to tell you. So we have a full house today, and the reason you are here and the reason you are seeing this online when you do see it is because if any realtor is out there or affiliate, if you're out there and you just are thinking that it's a sheer impossibility that you could ever become president of OCR or you could even serve on leadership, that is so untrue. As a matter of fact, that's a lie, because as we're going to find out, none of these three wonderful past presidents have ever thought when they were little girls and little boys, boy, when I grow up, I'm going to be the OCR president. They never thought that. But things happen, and things happen, and like me being in leadership, I had no idea until awesome people, and two of which are sitting here today, Aaron Rosen and Scott White, badgers me into getting into leadership. So that's what the goal is, all right? You asked me to be the moderator, so I get a little time. I'm going to give 1 minute to say this. This is my selfish time. First of all, two of my most amazing people in my life, my beautiful wife, who I love, and I do everything only to make her proud. She's here. And then also the apple of my eye, Philip III, Chip Jr., CJ, he's here. So I love you guys. I thought she was your daughter. Oh, she does look like my daughter. Okay, Gene, I'm the funny man. You're the but now... You're scoring points. I know. I'm scoring very good right now, I guess. And then now, this is the last of my selfish moments. Okay, we know that we are in a market right now, all of us, where it is changing. However, here's the thing that I want you all to maybe consider. One other thing of your choice, be it getting in the tip-top shape of your life, be it learning Spanish, be it learning the guitar, be it whatever you want to do, start on that now, because I'll tell you, that's what I did when the pandemic started, and most of you, and I'm mad at you for not telling me, I was a fat boy for most of my life, and just to be able to lose 50 pounds and be in the best shape of my life, at least I know during that negative time I did something positive, so I implore you, do something that you've always wanted to do now. Now is the time. And what would give me great joy and pleasure is about a year from now, one of you at least come up to me and say, Chip, because I took your advice, I now am fluent in Spanish. I now can play the guitar. I now am in the best shape of my life. All right? All right, so let's go on with the show. And I'm calling it a show because I want this to be exciting, because we have three exciting presidents. I mean, we had a whole bunch of presidents that we could have chosen, but we have three awesome presidents here. And I'm just going to give one little fun fact about each of them. First of all, to my immediate left, is Jean Tingen. Oh my God, this lady, she has the riot sense of humor, and we've been on committees together, and I just love her input always. She's funny, but whatever she says, she's like that E.F. Hutton. You gotta listen, because she has the experience to back it up. When she was president, one of the things that she did was she included Jim DeLizia in with her strategic planning, and that pretty much changed everything, because this was a pivotal year where the strategic planning had to go just right, and it did. So that was something great that we're proud of Jean for. Okay. We're going to skip over Rita for a second, and we're going to go to my main man, Lynn Herman. And the reason I'm bringing him up now is because we're just about the same age. This guy has the wryest sense of humor you can ever imagine. He's always cracking the funniest jokes in meetings where you're not supposed to laugh. And I just say, you don't want to sit next to this guy because of that, because he always has the funny stuff. But I'll tell you what, the worst thing about your life, Lynn, is and this is terrible about your life, is that they say that if you want to be successful, you want to surround yourself with people who are smarter than you. And you will never find that. And what we can attribute to Lynn's presidency is that he, under his presidency, brought in Dave Stefanidi. And Dave Stefanidi, after 10 years, has made our organization a beacon upon the hill. So we want to thank you for that, Lynn. There you go. All right, I work alone. Now we will talk about Rita Tanaka. Oh my God, this lady, this is one of the reasons why we are here, is because of what happened under her, I'll call it regime because it was so great. What happened under her is Leadership Academy was birthed, was born, and that's why a lot of us are here. And Rita, it means so much to the organization, the association, that I know you're going to be like, it wasn't me, it was a group effort. We know that, but you were the head of the group effort, and we just want to thank you for that, and also for what you do with the Guide Dogs of America. So give it up for Rita Tanaka. Now you guys, so you don't think I'm picking on any of them. I've already warned them that their answers will be about 1 minute to 1.5 minutes. So I'm going to use my personality to the best of my ability. If you start going over, I might do a little bitty nudge, or I might come over and say, all right, Lynn, or whatever, because we want to just keep this thing going. So we don't want to take the mic, and we don't want to go for, unless somebody out in the audience, where you in the back, do you want people to go a long time? Okay, nobody wants you guys to go for a long time. So just get in, let's get the punches quick, okay? So we're going to start with the first question. And I'm not going to go right down the line, guys, so don't think that you could just sit down. Rita, don't think you could be comfortable right now, because I might go to the bottom of the list on you. So we're going to start with this one. Do you feel...
Who are you asking?
No, I'm going to ask the question so you can all think about it, and then I'm going to say, okay? Do you feel that your path to leadership was planned, or did it just happen? What was your calling if you had one? Now, what I want to do is, does anybody want to answer that question? Rita.
Okay, my path to leadership was,
I was going to take credit for you.
I ran for the board and I lost. And so I went home and buried my little toys and said, boo. And then she needed somebody to fill a spot, and she called me, and I was like, well, they didn't vote me in, so why would I, take that position? But she talked me into it, and I'm never sorry.
Oh, thank you. I was asking Chip when I came in, I said, can I take credit for Rita? You know.
Yes, you can.
Well, that's awesome, and that's wonderful. And for you people out in the audience here, most of you already know this, but that is such a feather in your cap to be able to have somebody like Rita, as one of the people that you told about leadership, and then also, Rita, for you to always have in your heart what Gene did for you. So that for you all out there, it's a good time if you want to get involved to talk to somebody on either the board or who is in leadership, okay?
I'll add to that, because I had a similar thing happen to me, and I can't even remember how far back David Silver Western is. Somebody must know. Oh, Cassie's not here. Because I was involved in the local Women's Council for Realtors up in the Huntington Beach area, and he did a presentation in our local library, and I recall going up to him and introducing myself, saying, we want to do whatever we can to support OCAR. So, thank you for doing this, and I introduced myself, and that was the end of it. Well, I don't know. I can't really recall because it's been so long ago, but I got a call from him saying, one of our board of directors he can't complete his there's a year left, would you consider filling that spot? And I did, but again, the next year I did run again, but I lost, I didn't even win, but that's okay. But I'm just saying, someone can introduce you and you never know what will happen. So
Wow.
that's what happened.
Yeah, so to that point, it wasn't planned since you were born, when you were a little girl or boy, that you wanted to be in leadership. However, when it happens, it just sticks. Lynn, I want to ask you this, since we haven't heard, we pretty much know about these two. Who tapped you on the shoulder?
So an interesting thing is, I too ran for board of directors and lost. And in my first election.
all three.
This is what a loser looks like.
You guys ever run for board of directors and lose, be careful, you're liable to be president. And Mary Jane Cambry appointed me to fill a slot where one of our directors moved out of the area.
Oh, wow.
Wow, so
So
Mary
there's a
Jane.
theme here.
Right.
Loser.
Right, that's right. Don't ever quit.
That's not how I got into Oak Harbor.
Okay, go ahead.
So, some of you have heard this story. When I started in real estate in 2003, I'd come out of 20 years of IT. And back in those days, we had the full 2-day new member orientation. And I'm sitting in my new member orientation, there was like a whole day of MLS. And I came from an organization where we were doing massively large database stuff. I'm looking at the MLS, which is really just a big database. Well, why are we doing stuff this way? This is stupid. This makes no sense. And Don Riedinger, who was leading the new member orientation section for MLS, said, "You're on the MLS committee." And I've been on the MLS committee since then, and that led me into leadership.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, I'm gonna give you this ball to hit out in the park, Rita. If someone were considering volunteering for leadership and they lack leadership skills, what would you say the first step would be, Rita?
I would hope everybody would look to Danielle, who is now leading the Leadership Academy.
Yeah.
And talk to her and ask her some questions and get involved that way.
Well, tell me just a little bit more. Well, tell them a little bit more about Leadership Academy.
So it's a monthly program, and it will give you exposure to NAR, CAR, local committees, look outside of the board. You don't have to get involved in the board when you take it. You can get involved like Heidi is in the chamber, or, I don't know, there's people at all different levels. So do it.
There you
You
go.
won't be sad. Because it's once a month. I think it's now what, 5 months or 6 months? 5 plus graduation is 6. 6 months. It was 8 months when we started, so they whittled it down a little bit. Do it.
Well, I'm a graduate, so I can talk from telling you right now that the guests that they have that come in world class. I mean, like Stephen Thomas's dad, Jerry Thomas. I'll never forget when he comes in. They tell you that behind the scenes stuff, like not that somebody would say from up here, but as an uncle would tell you how to do well. Wait, so when you should donate, they tell you everything about how you should be a better leader, and it's an impeccably great program that you should get involved in. Okay.
Could I just add to that?
Jean, you may do so.
Prior to even having that opportunity, there are other organizations that can also help you, in the real estate industry as well. And my biggest, I would say, accomplishment as well as being involved in the Women's Council of Realtors, which is an affiliate, by the way, of NAR. So, I mean, it's I happened to also be the state president in 2006, like 5 years before OCAR. So that in itself also gives you an opportunity to step up and, take baby steps if you need to, and, volunteer for some training. It gives you that little bit of a nudge and there's plenty of mentors that you can talk to. And I was going to say, if you're not used, and before Leadership Academy, you can still join a committee without being a leadership. And also, my tip was, attend the events at OCAR. We have so many. And don't be a stranger. Go up and talk to people, whether it's the committee chair or whether it's someone when you wanna know, introduce yourself. You're gonna have to take those baby steps and introduce yourself into the process. And if you need help, ask for it. I got my best advice before I was before WCR, and I'll make this real quick. Toby, Bradley, who was a CAR president, I don't know if you remember, she recently passed away. I remember being in a luncheon with her. I was a CAR director, but Stillwood Women's Council, which was very nervous about stepping into leadership, and she said, well, do what I did. I joined Toastmasters. That way I learned how to control a meeting. I learned how to speak directly and on the point, because they really, time you on. So I took her advice, and I did join Toastmasters. So there's things that you can do way before you get in that spot of leadership.
Thank you so
You're
much,
welcome.
Dean. Okay, Lynn, you've been on board, obviously, you've been exposed to leadership. You've already lost, you said once. Now you have been elected as president. Try to remember that day. From that day until your first day, in office, if you will, what did you do to prepare?
So actually, I was elected as president-elect. So I had a whole year to ramp into it, which is, I think, one of the most intelligent things Orange County Realtors ever did, is you get a whole prep year. But one of the things I did is I met with as many of the past presidents that I could. And I wanted to find out what were the highlights, what were the lowlights, what was expected of you, what was the time commitment, what were the things you didn't even know you didn't know, so that when I got there, I would have less surprises. And I think it was fairly effective, because I went through my whole year with maybe just 30 or 40 surprises.
True.
Rita,
Yes.
what has leadership done for your personal growth?
So, I learned about the leadership program through taking it at NAR, and that was, so from across the country, there were 20 of us, and that was so fascinating to me that it's all personal, right? Everything is personal, and those connections are irreplaceable. And actually before 2020, my president year was my best year. 2020 was ridiculous, right, for everybody. But 2015 was my best real estate year, and I have a great office that supported and were there for when I needed them. So have a support and go forth and slay.
There you go. Thank you, Rita. Yeah, well, let me ask you that, to piggyback on that. Lynn, did being the president, did that hinder your personal business, or did that make it better, or how did it work?
It made it good. My 2013 year when I was president was a good year, but I have a unique situation. I have a great business partner, and we've been business partners for a long time, Scott White.
Yeah.
When I got bogged down with things that I needed to do as president, Scott was able to step up and help with the business items. But I also wound up with a couple of great clients that year that resulted in me having one of my best years ever. And also the credibility that I got from being president was, you went into a meeting, and I don't know if the credibility was that they saw me as more credible, or I felt myself that I was more credible.
Other agents are afraid of you. When you're president, they make sure they do all the right things.
They're afraid you're going to nail them on breaking the
So
rules.
that's a good thing.
That's right. Even being on the board out there, you just come up. But let me ask you that pretty much the same thing, Jean.
Okay.
Did it help your business, or did it give you name recognition, or how did
It still does. Sometimes, our crazy market last year where we were like, making appointments, and I was texting people, and they said, I know who you are. I said, well, you might, or I would meet the real realtors, and it kind of helps. And I would even go back to even further when you have volunteerism, and people would even recognize me even from Women's Council local, because when we had multiple offers, they said, oh, didn't I just see you at that event? I go, oh, yeah, I remember you now. I mean, it it helps, you know, I mean, obviously, it helps because of the credibility and being aware of more. I would tell my clients what I was doing for them. I wanted them to know that what I do in this industry and what I volunteer and go and spend my time in DC or Sacramento is because I want to be the best realtor that you have. And that, I mean, I do stuff on the phone. I mean, we were just talking, Scott and I, about, you know, we didn't have, I don't have my trio. And then obviously at times we didn't have the technology as we do now, but I always had to have someone back home when I was traveling to cover. But it never interfered with my business. It's only made me more business, even now.
That's awesome, awesome. Lynn?
So the other thing I wanted to jump on with the credibility, and I'm sure you guys will agree, is serving on committees, serving on the board, going to all these meetings. We're the first to learn what's happening. And when you have that information, before anybody else has that information, you have a whole other level of credibility.
Right, right. Okay, now we're going to take a little commercial break. Not commercial break, but just a little fun break. Lynn, I'm setting you up. Okay, so get ready. Remember what we were talking about. Okay. Lynn, like I told you, he's always funny, especially when he's not supposed to be. Lynn, why don't you give people a little tip that you learned while...
My best takeaway?
Yeah, your best takeaway.
So one of the things you do as an incoming president and president of the association is you go to the CAR president's training meetings at the 3 meetings every year. And they bombard you with a lot of information at these meetings, but my takeaway that I remember then and I still remember now was Joel Singer, the previous CEO of the CAR, stood up at the front of the room and said, as presidents, you're going to go to a lot of dinners, a lot of lunches, eat a salad every now and then.
Right. That was good advice, I tell you. So I'm going to ask you, Gene, besides your business getting better and people knowing you, what skills did you learn or pick up that helped your business? What skills did you learn from being a leader?
If I mean directly or for business or personal, just I was learning a lot always to direct, to control a meeting, or not control, but to be a facilitator of meetings. You really need to learn how to stay on point. I know that's very difficult. We've had some board of directors who go on and on and on and throwing their personal, opinions in, and that's good, and everybody's going to have a personal opinion, but when you're directing a meeting and you're on a topic that involves our membership, and that's why we're here. We're really just doing what's right for our members, and as a board of directors, we're signed up for that. We signed that kind of an agreement to do what's right and not, obviously, it's personal sometimes, but controlling a meeting, getting the questions around so that everyone has an opportunity to give an opinion, it was often very difficult, and I have to throw out our good friend Harrison, was that he wasn't a lawyer, he just recently passed away, we all loved him very much, but I recall learning Robert's Rule of Order, there's one thing, but he could call for the question, and that was like, I would try to wink and like, Harrison, when are you going to say this? We got to get to the point. It was just that I learned that, and I think that helps in any kind of negotiation, asking the right questions and getting your clients, concerns and other realtors' concerns, and that all was a good training.
Right, so as we know, these are really 3 positive people. However, we know that being the president was not all flowery and cheerful. Lynn Herman, what were some challenges you can think about that happened during your presidency?
So the challenges usually lie within the surprises. And during my year, the big one, I can't go into any detail on this, so I apologize because it's all confidential. We had a member who decided he was going to become an issue. He or she was going to become an issue. And appeared in every single board of directors meeting, and to the point where we eventually just had to go into executive session to hold a meeting. So it was a time suck. It was just things that couldn't be avoided, but at the same time, meeting the board of directors, I had to treat this member with dignity, respect, and let him have his say. So it was this balancing act of, how do you allow the person that you absolutely hate what they're going to say, the space and time to say what they want to say? So that was an interesting lesson to learn how to do that.
Right. Rita?
I think the challenges are that you're, as a board of directors or a president, you're just involved in the goal or the scope. You're not involved in the weeds, and that's very hard. There's a whole staff there that is just amazing, and you're not to be there trying to make changes.
Right.
You're there to have a direction and let it work out.
Did you have anything to add to?
I think that, again, coming into being elected as president-elect, I mean, it was, we had a different CEO at the time, Linda Lang, who's been around for more than 10 years when I was here, and very conscientious, wonderful person. We had, no issues, but there were, again, some issues between agents, our board of directors, who felt like they had more to do than what their direction as a president or board of directors is the scope of that. But there was some real serious things that happened, and you just need to know how to take the advice of our CEO and the staff who run, they know what they're doing here, and we're only here for a year or more as a president, and we're to guide the goals of the association, not our own personal goals. But sometimes, have you been watching the debates? Come on, everybody has a personal thing, and when somebody gets in a position and they think then all of a sudden they're in control and I'll get my way or the highway, then there are some serious, sometimes legal problems behind there that we have to deal with. And I had a couple of those, but all things said, everything works out for the best in the long run.
Right. Rita, when you got elected president or president-elect, you had some expectations of what it would look like, and you thought it would look like this. How did it differ from what you thought it would be? What were the surprises?
The surprises were everybody wants your picture with them. And then the day that you get de-installed, they're like, Rita, can you hold the camera and take a picture? And I'm like, well, here I am. A short-lived celebrity.
Lynn?
15 minutes of fame.
Yes.
Would you have anything to add to that? What were your expectations, and then how did they differ from reality?
I don't think they really did. I mean, I think I had a long enough training period being on the board of directors that I knew what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's the surprises that you just have to figure out how to deal with, the things that don't come from the board of directors, but the external forces that occur that kind of took us off our roadmap a little bit. So, we had a roadmap of what we wanted to do, but we wound up spending so much time dealing with these issues that came up that you had to say, well, which of the items on our roadmap do we want to take off the roadmap now?
Mm-hmm. So. Did you have anything to add to that, or?
There weren't as many surprises for me because honestly, when you had a position that I had had as state president in 2006 with the Women's Council, we had no staff. I had to conduct meetings we always met at the same time as CAR or NAR, and I had to facilitate a meeting from 9 to 5:30, 2 days in a row. It was that was a little different than. So I felt like I was pretty well trained before getting to having just a board of directors meeting once in a while. And we had a great staff behind us to help us, be prepared. So I was not too surprised by what I had to do at the board of directors meetings. I really wasn't. So thankfully we got through it.
Right. Ben Herman.
Yes, sir.
What does the future of leadership look like?
I think it looks like this room. So, one of the the things that we heard a while ago is replace yourself. So I brought in Scott White. Scott White brought in you. We brought in Danielle. We brought in a bunch of people that, if they wanted to, could be the next leaders of the association. We have some great folks out there. We have people who haven't even run for the board yet that should. And we have people on the board who should contemplate running for president.
Okay, so we'll move right on to you quickly, Rita. Wait, what did you say?
I'd like to make a
Yeah.
Oh, I was right there. You threw it, because when Cassie, she's not on camera, but when Cassie speaks, you listen to something. What did Cassie say? Okay, before. Okay.
I thought I took you off your mark.
Yeah, yes, you did, man, you did. So, here is the, question that I want you all to think about, and, Lynn, I'm gonna ask you this first.
Okay, last time to say.
If you were to be president again, you get this chance over again. If.
No, it shouldn't be that.
No, but
You should never be president.
Okay, I'm glad you said that, Rita. So we won't talk about you should never be president. This is just a hypothetical situation, like if we went to Mars. Okay, so anyway, if you were to be president, what would you do differently?
I don't know how much I would do differently. My underlying force that I followed when I was president was, how does the next decision this board of directors make impact the next member that walks up to the counter? And for me, it was all about the members. And if I were to do it again, it would be all about the members again. None of it was about me. None of it was about the board of directors. Sorry, Cassie, but none of it was about the staff. It was all about how does the next member benefit from our decision?
Rita?
Too hard to pass. The future is so different. I don't know what it's gonna be. The Zoom thing is just the future, I guess. But I loved the personal, the one-on-one, seeing, what do they call it, pressing the flesh. I don't think that's gonna happen. I see the meetings just empty. I was in here for risk management, and there were 4 people, but there were 80 online. So I think that's going to be the change. The president is going to be in a Zoom box, talking to you from afar.
Well, that's so great that this room is filled today, so thank you guys for Thank you. Well, you guys are different than those guys that Rita's talking about.
My glasses are not rose-colored today.
Gene, I would be quite remiss if I didn't ask, if you were president again, what would you do differently?
I agree with Rita. There's too many other opportunities for people out there that I would never, presume to do that. Because I really feel my job now is to mentor, answer questions, encouragement to those who want to step into leadership, and I would hope that they would ask questions. I mean, that's why I said, go to our events, and that way you walk up to the chair. I know at CAR, when we had to do our reports at, OCAR, they said, did you speak to the chair or vice chair of the committee you're on? And I say, yes. And then, fortunately for me, because I was out in CAR and NAR before I was involved in leadership at OCAR, I did have the opportunity of walking up to Vince Malta, who is, now going to be NAR president sooner or later. But I was state president and he was CAR president the same year, so we were at the same event. So I had the opportunity to go up to those leaders and introduce myself and say, how can I help? Or, tell me more about this, or any committee that you find that I think by attending things, you're going to find what's your passion.
What's your salt on?
So my thing was, I found that I was leaning toward more governmental affairs. chairs. All of a sudden, I was fortunate enough to be appointed for chairs and vice chairs at CAR on committees, and I was able to talk to the staff and ask questions, and now that's where my passion is now. I really do want, to be more, I'm not running for anything. When I farmed sometimes, door knocks, everybody says, "Are you running for city council?" I go, "Are you kidding me? I'm not gonna take that much abuse."
Right.
But I'm just saying, if you ask the right questions, attend the right meetings, and talk to people, you're gonna find what's your niche, and then follow that, and I think it'll be okay. And if you ask the questions and help, get the help you need, ask Rita, ask any of us that you see at meetings.
There you go, that's really good.
I wouldn't do president again,
Okay, Rita, what would you want people to know in ending? I think this will be the last thing that we ask. What would you want to say to people out there looking later and all this full room of people?
Get involved. Get involved. I don't care if it's just at a marketing meeting, and you start there, but get involved. And you have something to add to any organization.
Thank you. Jean?
I would agree, the same thing as I said, be involved, show up, ask questions, and whether, it's real estate related or not, I mean, I think we can all be leaders through, other organizations, or through the chambers, or through any other business group that will help benefit you as a person. But obviously, we want you involved in OCAR at all possible, because it is a benefit to you in the long run.
What do I want to call you, Lynn? He's the guy that I call whenever I want to know anything. So my Mr. Answer Man, what would you want to leave with the people?
So I'm a big believer in OC Realtors committee structure. We have a lot of different committees. If you want to be involved in leadership, find a committee that you're passionate about, because serving on a committee helps you understand the role of a member of the committee. If you're going to be in leadership, the committee you're going to chair eventually is the board of directors. And being on a committee, you learn, how do I interact with others to seek the goal we're trying to accomplish and get the others in the group to have their input into that so that we get the best possible solution. That's one thing. The second thing is Leadership Academy. Get anybody you know who is interested in this to sign up for next year's Leadership Academy.
So both applications for committee and for Leadership Academy are due the 15th for Leadership Academy. And I think committees is the end of the month.
No, committees was
31st.
Repeat that, Rita, because I don't know if she doesn't have on the mic. So December 15th?
November 15th.
November
Leadership
15th
Academy.
is the Leadership Academy.
And October 31 for committee.
October 31 is the committee applications, and they're on ocar.org, or no, ocrealtors.org, and they're easy to fill out, and you can see the committee structure or list, right?
Yes.
And find something, and actually, to be honest, you have more ability for change at the committee level than you do as president. As president, you are not to have an opinion.
We don't vote as president.
So you're just the facilitator, but if you want to make a change, Aaron stepped into different committees, and he was like a whirlwind of change. And that's where you can make it happen.
Right. Well, I want to thank you so much, Lynn Herman, Rita Tayanaka, and Jean Keegan. Let's give it up for them. And I would like to end this meeting the way I started it, because it's something very important to me. I'm telling everybody about it. During this time, don't just look at it as like I don't like to say negative things, but don't look at it as a changing market or whatever. Look at it as a time where you did something to better yourself. Do that one thing that you'll be able to come out of the tunnel on the other side looking better. Well, we thank you so much for your time. Oh, we have a question from Mr. Rosen.
We have time to ask questions?
Oh, thank you. See, that's why he's on all the committees. That's why we got readers unwrapped and everything. Okay.
Okay, before we proceed,
Yes.
can we also thank Kathy?
Yes, Kathy Cardenas.
You need a microphone.
No, I'm
Wait,
not.
I will repeat it,
I'm loud.
Okay.
My question is for any of you, that before getting to the president level, did you have to fulfill certain number of board committees or certain hours of, volunteer time into the board before you get qualified to apply for president?
Wait, let me just restate the question. The question is, do you have to qualify somehow by hourly in order to become president?
The answer is in our bylaws. So in the Orange County Realtor bylaws, which have changed a little bit, when I was running, when everybody here was running, you had to serve at least 2 years on a committee prior to being eligible to run to be a director. You had to be a director to become president. I think now you either have to serve on a committee or be a graduate of the Leadership Academy to become a director, and you have to still be a director before you can become president.
Because the president is voted for by the board of directors, not the general membership. So you have to do your little spiel in front of the board, who then votes.
There are some associations in California though where the president is elected by the membership. Did you know?
Yeah, but not ours.
Not ours. We're by the board of directors, and then you're elected as, nominees are elected as president-elect. And then you serve basically 3 years.
Any more questions? Thanks for that question. Aaron Rosen.
I would love to hear more of your words of wisdom, like, glad you got eat a salad. What is the best advice that you received from someone along your journey that you hold so close to your heart that it motivated you and pointed you in the right direction and keeps pointing you in that right direction?
You have to repeat that.
No, yes, we'll repeat that question. First of all, I'll say that this question is so awesome, and it's coming from an affiliate. So if you think we're only talking to realtors out there, we're not. We're talking to you affiliates also get involved, because Aaron Rosen, he's, as we said, one of the guys who tapped me to get into leadership. He makes a difference here with this organization. So what Aaron's question is he wants real words of wisdom from these three people, and not just about salad. he wants deeper words of wisdom. So wait, Rita's like, okay, let me come up with something. Okay, there you go.
I got it.
Okay, you got it.
So when somebody asks you a question or wants to talk to you, it's so easy to sit there and formulate your reply or share your experience. And that is not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to listen and just ask questions back to them. So that is still hard to do because, our first thing is, when I do this, right? So that was the biggest word of wisdom to me from the NAR Leadership Academy, is listen and respond only to their experience, not share yours.
Lynn?
I'm going to agree with Rita, is listen to what the members are asking. But part of the reason I wanted to do this is I became president my 10th year as a realtor. And one of our past presidents, I've been on the board of directors already at that point, 4 years. And one of our past presidents told me in 10 years I wasn't yet qualified to do this. So then I had to do it.
Awesome, thank you, Lynn. Jean?
Well, the best advice I got was actually way before I was president here, and I can only give credit for the Women's Council of Realtors because that has been my passion since 1996, by the way.
Wow.
And so when I was on the line of officers, I went through secretary, treasurer, president-elect, and when I finally got to, I was going to be president in 2006, the best advice I got was when I would always be as a team, by the way. It was never just one or two. We all met, and I was very fortunate to have the best, 4 of us. And one was a man, by the way, because everybody would say, but what's a man being involved involved in Women's Council Roosters, but Mike Riley, who is from Livermore, California, Cold Baker guy, he goes, I know where to be to get business. But I'm just saying, the best advice we got is, we had a big challenge when I was president. We had a major bylaws change. So you can just imagine a national organization having to do that. And so we always ask the questions and listen. So I divided all four of us, and we had a meeting. We sectioned off the attendees, and we all went and asked questions and got some feedback from the people about, what do you think about this and that. And then we gathered all that together, the information, and listened to what the members say, just like Len was saying, and we made a very, very difficult decision that way. Everybody was afraid at our board of directors meeting, and I just stood up with confidence, leading that meeting, and very powerful people came to the mic to talk against it.
Right.
But the vote came in, and the members voted, and it was just a huge change that happened. So I look back now and see those leaders who are doing the Women's Council now, and I'm just like blown away at where they have come. I'm so proud of that, and the same with OCAR. I don't want to take over to have someone else's opportunity to have that feeling and have that opportunity.
That's really good. Well, wait 1 second, Perdita. So that's so important, so I'm just gonna sum all that up. What they're saying is listening to people, and Rita, you said it eloquently by not formulating, how can I wax poetic with this answer? You want to sit and really listen, have no answer at all. Be willing to say, I don't know, or I'll have to get back with you. But listen, so be in the moment. So thank you for that. And that's a key element for communication on any level, but especially in leadership. Okay, Parisa.
When you were president, did you ever think that 1 year is not enough? I wish I had another year.
Always.
The question is, when you were president, did you feel that 1 year was enough, or did you feel you needed more? Lynn?
So the term is actually 3 years.
It is.
So you're president 1 year, but the commitment is a 3-year commitment. So
Yeah.
you're president-elect the year before, then you're president, and then you're immediate past president. So you're on the executive committee for those 3 years. So that 1 year of president is really squeezed into 3 years.
But it's never enough, because you have ideas, and you think you're gonna change the world, but life gets in the way.
Mr. Rosen.
That leads me to my next question. Personally or professionally, what have each of you what do each of you still want to accomplish that you haven't done yet?
Okay, the question is, personally or professionally, what do you want to accomplish still yet to come? Jean.
Well, I'm the oldest one in the room, so not exactly, but personally, I'm in a place where, I love still handling real estate, because I have lots of past clients, and many of them came from referrals through Women's Council, people that I've known all over the country, which has been a very good business. But professionally, I feel like my job now is to help those who have asked me to mentor them, and I find great satisfaction in that, and but because my career now, and I have grandchildren now, I want to spend time with them, but personally, but I still love the committees, and I do stay involved in local government affairs and the leadership of professional, development committee. I want to give the input when I'm asked. I have to be asked first. I don't want to impose my feelings on anyone, but I am mentoring a few new CAR directors. I finally did say I've had enough of the CAR. I mean, not enough. I still love it, but I feel like I've had the opportunity now. It's time to give it over to someone else to get a CAR position, because at OCAR, we only have a certain number of appointees and those who go to NAR and CAR. So it's sort of time to give somebody else that chance,
Right.
because it's been a great opportunity for me.
That's great. Well, thank you so much. Anybody else? Sorry.
I withdrew my directorships from CIR and AR, and concentrate just on Orange County Realtors. But I would be president again in a heartbeat, because there's still so much I want to do. And for me, it's all about professionalism and ethics. And it's not that our membership wants to be unethical or wants to be unprofessional. We need to tell them how to accomplish this. There's so much more we can do than we've done so far. And truth be told, I actually put my name in to run for president this last year and made a decision to withdraw my name because my business partner, Scott, is president-elect and he'll be president next year. And I didn't want to be president-elect while Scott was president because I don't think there should be two people working that closely together on executive committee at the same time. But I respect Rita and I respect Gene and their beliefs, but I would do it again in a heartbeat.
What I need to learn is when my opinion is not needed anymore. It's very hard to think that the ship can run without me as a rudder.
Right.
And I learned that my home can run without me my year of presidency. So OCAR can run without me, but I still have a lot to share. So that I have to learn, to step back and walk away.
That takes a few more years too, but I've
learned that.
I've learned it, and it's really, I'll tell you, it's very rewarding to see those that are shining, and you think, because look, I took credit for her.
There you go.
I think.
You left her hanging. There you are. Don't leave people hanging, Gene.
I'm sorry, I did, I'm sorry, but I mean, I didn't want to say that, although I asked Cassie permission, but I'm glad she brought it up first.
Any other, yes, please.
Hi, I'm Kasha. I'm with Regency Brokers, and I'm super excited. It's my first year with them. My question is, because I'm kind of newer, can you all three, like, say your first and last name so I can write it down and follow you on social media?
Oh, sure.
Wait, so.
So name, your name, and then your social media tag.
Okay, in essence, we have a new realtor who's kind of fangirling out there.
Oh,
So she was, so first of all, your last name is Clooney, right? No. We will just take that. Okay, you go first, Liz.
My name is Len Herman.
Lenn.
No,
one N, Herman. I'm mostly on Facebook, but I am on Instagram as Len4Homes.
Thank you.
Is that F-O?
The number 4.
The number 4, okay. And then.
And I was one of the first 50 people on Instagram because I was at the conference where they launched it.
Get
And I
out.
said, guys, pick a handle.
Wow. Rita?
I learned something new. Rita Tayanaka, Tayenaka. My handle is Rita Tayanaka, and I am even on TikTok.
Whoa! Okay, Rita, reenact your last TikTok video.
I don't dance.
Okay, and Jean.
Mine is Jean, Jean. Most people say Gene. That's the
Min.
spelling.
Right.
Ben. Last name is Tietgen. And I don't do Twitter, don't do TikTok, but I have a Facebook account. You can find me, my kids tell me, well, at least get on Instagram. I go, okay, I don't know.
Yes,
Now, what is your full name, so when we get a friend request, we never accept it?
Oh, yeah.
So on social media, I'm Kasha Pilates because I teach Pilates and I sell property.
She's a rapper too.
You're with Pam Pentagon.
I am. So Kasha Andreou. My last name is and it's a long Polish last name, but and is Joyce.
Okay.
Kasia.
And you're with Pam Pentagon, right? Awesome.
Yeah.
We
No,
love
Pam.
Thanks to me.
Thumbs up, professional standards. She's known by that.
We love it.
Everybody loves Pam. And if you all want to know any more about being active on social media, you'll get with Danielle Corliss. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with it. Danielle. just goofing.
Or you need to learn how to text.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, she's the texting queen.
I think she wants yours also.
Chip McAllister, McAllister.
Well, that's so fast, I'm Steve.
Oh, McAllister. And on, Instagram, Amazing Race Chip. Amazing Race Chip.
In case you're unaware, Chip and his wife won the Amazing Race.
Well.
I just told my husband about that today. What year was that?
2004. Yeah. Right before you became president. That's why we did it. We wanted to be.
Well, it was 2000.
Okay, any more questions? Oh, yes. Oh, you want to take a picture?
You and Dave.
Right. Okay.
Okay, I can do that.
Oh, with the
That
flag.
wasn't a question.
Okay, cool. Yeah, right. So, Lynn, this is a big day. We got fans.
Yeah.
We get picked photo ops. So we're becoming famous because of this thing right here, buddy. I'm telling you.
If you weren't emceeing it, what happened?
Well, on that, I will say thank you so much for attending here for the Full House. Give yourselves a hand. And thank you out there, and we look forward to doing this again next year, even more successful. Thanks again.